Nbuy Nkitabungi was one of the first from his native land of Zaire to join the church. In the short time he has been in the church, Nbuy has served as a full-time missionary to England, as a branch mission leader in Belgium, and, although he is not yet married, as a branch president in Kinshasa, Zaire. President Nkitabungi was born 19th of October 1959 in Luebo, Kasai Occidental, Zaire. In Brussels, Belgium, he completed his public schooling. After investigating the church in Brussels, he was baptized in 1980. He learned the English language on his mission and currently serves as a translator.
I was born in 1959, during the Trouble just before the independence of my country. After the Trouble, my parents and I came to Kinshasa to live. I was very sick when I was young, maybe because of the climate, but perhaps also because of the conditions I lived in. My father was a wealthy businessman, trading clothes and clothing material. He was also a polygamist, with 2 wives and 15 children. He had no religion, not even a pagan religion. He was like most people in our society today. They may go to church, but it doesn't mean anything to them. My mother is Presbyterian, and we children used to go to church with her every Sunday. She wanted us to be clean and well-dressed, and she didn't want us to play soccer on Sunday, which is what I used to do at that time. In 1969, my father sent me to Belgium to get my education. I succeeded in my education and had a wonderful experience. It was there, in May of 1980, that I had my first contact with the church. I was living in an apartment in Brussels, and the missionaries rang the bell. I came down to the door, and the missionaries introduced themselves. There were about 5 missionaries at the door. They were doing district proselyting, I think. They had just met my twin brother in the park, but he wasn't interested in their message. But I accepted the discussions, though I can't remember exactly why. I only remember that I was interested just in talking with them. They introduced the church and talked about the restoration and also the testimony of Joseph Smith. They gave me a copy of the Book of Mormon to read, but I told them I didn't like reading. The things that impressed me most were the first vision and the plan of salvation. These were things the other churches didn't teach. So when I heard of the story of the first vision, I said to myself, why not? If God revealed himself to prophets before, why not today? I felt good about that doctrine, and I also felt good about the word of wisdom. I had just set a goal to quit drinking the beer we used to have after a soccer game. I read sections from the Book of Mormon and felt good about what I read. When I went to church, the people were very kind to me. I have never experienced discrimination in the church. That is one of the differences I saw in the church. After the discussions, a missionary challenged me to be baptized on 30 June. But when the date came, I refused. Then, from time to time, something touched me. I think it was the Spirit. So, suddenly, I had the desire to review the discussions, learn more about the church, and gain a testimony. I was baptized on 19 July 1980. I remember that day. It was in the morning, and I was the only one to be baptized in the Brussels ward. A counselor in the bishopric spoke, saying that life on this earth is very short compared with the complete line of time in the eternities. So our life is like a period. I think he meant that we don't have much time to live here on earth, and so we've got to be obedient and prepare to meet God. When I returned home after the baptism, I was lying on my back, and a warm feeling came into my chest. I cannot describe the feeling, but I can testify that it was the Holy Ghost telling me that I had made the right decision in getting baptized that day. It was a wonderful, peaceful feeling. Now I can say without a doubt that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is the only true church on earth. And since the day of my baptism, I have tried my best to bring my brothers and friends into the church. I used to give them pamphlets or copies of the Book of Mormon. I also invited my twin brother to a fireside once, and he enjoyed the subject, the 3 degrees of glory. A year later, we returned to Zaire for holidays. I told everyone that I had joined the church, and some people came to me and wanted to know more about it. So I explained how the church was restored, and also how I gained my testimony. Just before I returned to Zaire, my bishop asked me to think about going on a full-time mission. I told him I would give him my answer just after the vacation. During my vacation, I thought a lot about it, wondering how I would have enough money, but feeling that the Lord would help me do it. I felt the Spirit strongly and thought the Lord was trying to encourage me to go on my mission. So I returned and told the bishop of the Brussels ward that I had decided to accept a call. He was excited, as were some of the members. I filled out some papers and had my interview at the end of October 1981, received the Melchizedek priesthood on the 25th of October, got my patriarchal blessing in January, had my interview with my stake president, and received a response from the First Presidency in April. President Spencer W. Kimball sent me to the England Birmingham mission. It was hard to convince my mother, father, and brothers that it was necessary for me to go on a mission for the church, but just before I left, my dad called me on the phone from Kinshasa and told me he would support me. This was the first time for me to learn the English language, and it took about 3 or 4 months to learn it. When I first arrived, I memorized all the discussions in English and also some scriptures. That is how I came to learn the language. No one taught me a word. I learned everything myself. I learned a lot from my mission: how to teach people, how to live with foreigners, how to be patient, how to be humble. I became a district leader. I am proud to say that I had about 24 baptisms on my mission. I'm not bragging, but missionary work is very hard in Europe. God wanted to help me, so He blessed me with those baptisms, and I was glad to bring the gospel to those people. They needed it, and I know it is the best thing they can get in life, because the church helps people become better people. When I returned to Belgium, I became the ward mission leader for the Brussels ward. I was even called on a 1-month mission to help teach missionaries how to be effective. My experience in England helped me in this calling. Because of visa problems, I returned to Zaire in April 1985. 2 days after my arrival, I met Brother Bocut, an American Latter-day Saint at the American Embassy. He was quite surprised to see me, since I was a member of the church and was speaking English. I explained my mission to England and told him of my situation in Kinshasa. He invited me to his home later, and we had a good chat. I also met his wife and family. In early 1986, some church leaders from the United States came and began to try to establish the church in Zaire. They had met with President Mobutu of Zaire, a government authority who was a friend of the church. I tried to guide the church leaders, helping them get to know more people in Kinshasa and get to know the city better, along with the customs and habits of the people. We had a Sunday school and sacrament meeting at the place where I used to live then, and I would translate into French what the English-speaking brother would say. That's how I learned to be a translator. Eventually, we had 2 families working with us, the Bocuts, who spoke French, and a family from Utah, the Cregans, from the embassy. They introduced the gospel to my family. My father and mother attended the first meeting we had in my house. Some members of my family have joined the church, but some not yet. I pray that they will all become a part of the church because it will aid them to be better people and also help us to do our genealogy work more effectively. I was quite happy to learn that the church would be established in Zaire. In 1981, when I came to Kinshasa on vacation, and as people were interested in learning more about the church, I would tell them that the church would be established in 5 years. And in 1986, the church was established in Zaire. That was sort of prophetic. I am grateful for those people who worked to establish the church in Kinshasa, because I know what a blessing it will be for my country and for the people in Zaire. The church bought a building in Limite, and I was called as first counselor in the branch presidency. The missionaries have been successful in both teaching and baptizing. They don't have to go knocking on doors as they do in Europe and the United States. People come to the missionaries. The people in Zaire want to know more about the church because it is new to them, as we testify that it is the only true church. And as they read the Book of Mormon, they find that the teachings of the church are the best teachings they have ever heard. Doctrines we show them during our discussions, which they haven't found in the Bible. They are quite amazed about the knowledge we have in the church, and also the books the authorities of the church have written. They are impressed that the members live what they teach, and that they really believe what they claim to believe. That is quite impressive. I think that if the people of Zaire live the principles of the gospel, as members do in other parts of the world, our country will be blessed and become better in social ways. I learned during my mission that when we bring the gospel to a poor family, we can expect that in a few months the family will be better off. The Lord will bless them because they are obedient to the commandments. In May of 1987, I was called as president of the Limite branch. The Binza branch was divided from it. I have learned many things from being a branch president among my people. Most of the members are new converts that come from different religious backgrounds, and they come with their own ideas. I have to help them learn the church ways of life. We leaders have to help them learn to leave old habits and get the new habits of the church. It is really a challenge to be a branch president, particularly here in Kinshasa. The Sunday after my calling as branch president, when I came through the gate at the Limite branch chapel, I was about to cry. I didn't understand my feelings, but as I looked back to the time when the Brussels ward was divided and a new bishop was put in, I remembered that when he was worried about something, he would cry. Then I understood my feelings. Also, in Europe, we would have a baptism every week, or maybe once or twice a month. Here in Kinshasa, we had over 30 people baptized in 1 month, and I had to find the time to interview all these new members. Right now, the branch president of the Binza branch and I are interviewing only the candidates for the Aaronic priesthood, because we haven't the time to do interviews with other new members. Then we have to interview all who have new callings. There is so much to do that it would take me a full day just to describe it all. But the church is true, and the missionaries are doing a divine work here in Zaire. If the church could send us more couples, more missionaries to help start the church, that would relieve some of the weight on the shoulders of the branch presidents. What we need most right now is to train members, not bring in more converts. We know that souls are of great worth in the sight of God, but we need well-trained members, so that if we need to split some branches, there will be good leaders in the new branches. Then will come the time to start bringing in more members. We need time to meet with all the new converts, and we need to find callings for them. In the meantime, I spend most of my time with the missionaries, helping them with translating or guiding them in their work, and helping my family become better acquainted with the church. My twin brother was close to joining the church, but for some reason, he doesn't want to join right now. He has told me that if he ever does join a church, it will be this one, because its members live what they believe, and he is also impressed by the teaching and doctrines presented at the conferences. When I first returned to Zaire, I had a hard time talking about the church to other people, but my brother encouraged me and opened the way. My mother likes the church. One of her goals was to have a child who became a medical doctor and one who became a pastor. She sees me as the pastor. The change in my life has impressed my family and also some of my friends.
This story shows how conversion can begin with a simple invitation. Faithful missionaries taught Nbuy about the restoration, the Book of Mormon, and God's plan. At first, he hesitated, but the Holy Ghost touched his heart and helped him recognize truth. His testimony changed his life. He was baptized, served a mission, became a leader, and helped the church grow in Zaire. Through missionaries, the Holy Ghost, and the Book of Mormon, one life was changed, and many others were blessed.